Hello, everyone. Welcome to the chat. We're going to be talking about all things AI in finance today. And I'm here with Mustafa. He has built an audience of 50,000 people teaching investors how to use AI to compress what he says a 6 hour process into 60 minutes. So
Yeah.
he's a long term investor, engineering, and I'm an investor too. I enjoy everything finance. And I just wanted to talk to who I think is an expert from what I can see on Substack. So welcome.
Thanks for the invite first. So I'll introduce myself quickly.
Yeah.
So Mustafa from Compound with AI newsletter. I'm an engineer by training. I'm an investor, long-term investor, 33 years old. I have been investing since 2018
Hmm.
and 2018, 2019. And I was always a long-term investor, so mainly a Buffett Munger investor. I have never been a trader, neither interested in crypto, so always long-term investor. And I have been using AI since the first version of ChatGPT.
Really?
And yeah,
Wow.
I was interested in it for a lot of things,
Mhm.
I like to learn a lot of things, and when the model started to be better,
Yeah.
I started using it for really investing. And year ago, something like this, I have noticed really that it's starting to be a game changer for investing for me.
Mm.
So I started the newsletter. I started sharing with my group of investors. I have a lot of big network of investors, started sharing with them the prompts that I was building, things that I'm doing. I have noticed that everybody was learning a lot of things and they were happy, and that they did progress a lot of that. So I started this newsletter, and I have been sharing how to use AI in investing since then, and it has been a long journey, learning a lot, sharing a lot of things, having great feedback from people. That's something that I like, and now we are 50,000 investors inside the email
That's
list.
awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I focus on my newsletter about leaders and how leaders can use AI for just really to maximize themselves. And I think finance is a place where AI can really transform finance and investing. And I feel like so much of investing comes down to what information do you have available and are you able to understand that information? And in a world where you have AI that can digest things for you, that gap has been reduced. So,
Yeah.
what was the moment when you realized, and AI really is this game changer? You mentioned that was about a year ago. What changed there?
It was when we had, I call it the cheat code in investing for me. It's deep research options. Deep research, especially in Gemini, and in ChatGPT, they have the same thing. In Claude also, only the name set changes, but it's research or deep research. When I started using it, uh, investing is simple. You need to understand business, you need to understand the industry, and to after this, once you understand everything, to take a decision to say, okay,
Mm,
this business will earn this amount of money. I will put a multiple on it, and I think this is the value. And I
yeah.
will try to buy it when it is lower and hold it forever. It's always complicated. So sell it in 3 or 5 years when you see that's overvalued. And that's the thing for me.
Mhm, yeah.
But to take that decision, you need to understand deeply the business. And to do it, you used to try to read a lot of reports to understand things. And when we had the deep research options, it's like you're paying someone and you're telling him, okay, go do me the research, take time and search
Mhm,
everywhere in internet, in reports, in industry, in competitors and industry reports, and give me a feedback. And when you give me that feedback, it will be structured like I wanted to do. When I do investing, I like always to start with understanding the business, understanding how they make money, and then competitors. And I have specific structure that I developed with time. Every investor has his
yeah.
own way to do it. And at the end of the day, the deep research is done, and the output is structured report, 10 pages, 11 on how the business works. When this started working for me, I said, okay, this is a game changer because I used to do this used to take 5-6 hours, and if you don't know the industry,
Yeah.
it will take weeks because you're starting from zero. I remember when I start a new industry, say shipping, for example. That's an industry that I thought like a lot because I didn't know anything about it and that I learned from scratch. I remember starting from zero, trying to understand the vocabulary, things like
Yeah.
this, and then going into the annual reports, trying to understand it, and take 2 or 3 weeks before being able to understand how it works. Now you run the right prompt with the right tool. You cannot just ask ChatGPT, please explain me and wait.
Yeah.
It doesn't work yet like this. Honestly, now in a couple of hours you have a good report that will allow you to start and learn industry from scratch easily. That's really the part of understanding the business. It's the game changer for me.
Mhm. So when you invest on, say, options, are you thinking are you just looking at individual companies? Are you looking at ETF options? On my end, I do quite a bit of options investing, but I
Mhm.
focus essentially on index funds and SPY and focus on so recently I don't trade options too much, but you hate to gain when there's war or when there's different things. But as I saw the just a conflict going on with the Middle East and everything else, I started I understood, okay, the macroeconomics, everybody's gonna freak out, things are gonna crash. Eventually, things are gonna go back up. So that's where I stop. I stay at the index level. What does your options trading look like?
Yeah, 90% of people, or even more, 99% of people doesn't need to go into investing in stocks and the index fund will be okay, because at the end of the day we
Yeah,
had a lot of wars since the second all the wars that we had, all the problems, COVID, everything. In average, the stock S&P is doing 9%, 8-9%. So if you
yeah,
invest on long term and you are okay with 8-9%, you don't need to do more. But
mm,
from my side, I like the game. I'm an investor. I'm
yeah,
trying always to beat the market. I like doing the exercise and investing my family's money. And uh, I'm really talking to people who wants to invest in specific stocks, and not someone who is starting. Mainly my audience usually is people who have been investing for years and they want to go faster and deeper, so they will reuse it. If you want to do if you use only index, honestly, you can use the AI, but you will use it
yeah,
in a very simple way because you want only to understand only. You want to understand the macro, what's happening, just to take some calls. But at the end of the day, for me, if you want to invest in index, you each month you send some money, and that don't ask a lot of questions, because at the end of the day, in the long term, you will
yeah,
it will be good. But if you invest in specific stocks, that's another game, because you can lose everything or do
yeah.
or outperform the market. That's mainly my focus.
Okay. No, that makes sense. So I feel like you outlined it a little bit, and this applies to almost every field.
Mhm.
We come in as generalists, and we come
Yeah.
in as I do individual investing in a lot of tech and a lot of AI companies. Um, I used to do a lot more options, not as much now. I don't have as much time to follow up with it, but I need to follow up some of your prompts and some of your work to get back into it. But I feel like for decades it was first who has access to the annual report and sit there like Charles Munger and Buffett and you just are going through pages and pages of annual reports. Then you ended up you go to Yahoo or you go to your favorite stock website and you get
Yeah.
the 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 summaries on there. Those summaries are for the average person. They have kind of what speaks to everybody, something that you're attracted to or that speaks your language may not be the same as for me, but with
Mhm.
AI,
Thank you. Yeah.
you can now get deep research that is in your language, exactly the pieces that you want.
Yeah.
Is that what the difference is?
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, that changed everything. We get used to use AI, but if you go few years back, and just to understand an annual report from another language, it will be
Mm,
so
yeah,
complicated. You should either pay translator or doing some Google trial that doesn't work at all and
Yeah.
is not adapted to the industry. Honestly, for me, in investing, we are in a world where a retail investor have the same tools now as the
Yeah.
best hedge fund in the world.
Yeah.
If you i- if you go, let's go back to Buffett years. Buffett is the best investor of all time. When he started, he's earning a lot of money because he was turning all the pages of the Moody's manual. It's
Yeah.
big book like this. He has all the stocks and he will read it and he will see, okay, this stock is P of 3. They will not go bankrupt. I'm all oversimplifying, of course. They will not go bankrupt, and they are net cash, something like this. They do the
Yeah.
calculation. It will be okay. That's a bet, and he will put his bet.
They're
Years,
undervalued and they have a good
yeah,
foundation. Long
yeah.
term, it's going to pay off.
Years later, in the market, let's say from 70s, uh, 80s, you don't find anymore this kind of stocks. If you find a P of 3, because there is something
Yeah.
weird in that, because information is more accessible. And but the thing is that hedge funds, people with more context, had information before. So a retail investor and someone from Wall Street that didn't have the same knowledge. But after internet, so retail investor had internet to get information faster. So we are going like this. Let's say we are here, we're going like this. Couple of years ago, we had newsletters. What's happening with newsletters is that you can take someone, Michael Burry is on Substack. He's been invested for years.
Yeah.
He predicted, and a lot of very good investors, excellent investors that are not famous, but they do great work. And you are only paying a couple of bucks and having access to the same knowledge and analysis like Wall Street hedge funds had. So honestly, we were at the same level. But now with AI, if you have right prompt, right process, honestly, what you can do as one person is what we used to be done by 5 or 6 analysts, and even better because you don't pay them, so you
Yeah.
don't have that
Yeah.
cost.
And to me, that has been incredible. I mean, I work a lot in the nonprofit area, and I think of marketing teams. Any nonprofit now can have 10 people worth of marketing um, hours because you can have AI agents doing all the individual things.
Yeah.
I do a lot of work for companies. I don't do any on the investing side. Everything's more on the business side, the AI strategy. But it's similar to what I've read that you do in some of your posts. Anytime I have a build or I have a project or I'm doing coaching for a major organization, I have a bunch of agents that I deploy to do this, to do this. So that they're all specialists. A lot of, for example, Ray Dalio, I really like his work. So anything that's in the business management side, it
Mhm.
references Ray Dalio. On your end, I've seen you have an industry analyst, you have an earnings analyst, a stock
Yeah.
analyst, a risk auditor. How did you get to that approach versus just having a general LLM where you just ask a question and it just gives you a general answer without specification?
The short answer, because it doesn't work. You cannot go to an LLM and just ask him
Mhm.
one sentence, should I buy Apple? That will not work. You will have a random
Yeah.
answer. Honestly, don't
What's your
expect
risk
this.
appetite? Are you long term? Sure. I mean, you just
Yeah.
assume that it knows everything.
Honestly, one prompt that I use in at least is 2 or 3 pages, because given the context and given what I want to answer. Let's just take simple example. For me, investing, so I'm talking about long-term investing. Investing is mainly about getting the basics of business. Let's say we are partners, we want to start a coffee shop. First thing that we want to do is that we will choose a location. To choose a location, we will walk on the street and see how many coffee shops that we have. We have one, two, three. Maybe when we will see that there is 20 coffee shops in the same street, you will say, there is a lot of competition. It's not the best idea, maybe. So you analyze it like this. It's only qualitative. And then you will see that you will try to think, you analyze competition, it's only one example, and later you will see what's making people go into this coffee shop and not the other. It's because they have better branding, or they have people are smiling while you are going into the coffee shop and things like this. And you will try to analyze everything before opening the coffee shop. You will try to see what's the price of the coffee, what will be my the price that we will buy our coffee, and what we will sell, what we will offer at products, we will be margin and everything, and that's thing that you want to know. But people, when they will buy Starbucks, for example, at the stock, they will say Starbucks is a big brand, let's buy it. Whatever they they don't do all the work, because it's kind of virtual money,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's the big
You don't
error
see it.
for
You don't
me.
see it. And
Yeah, but AI is here to help us do the same exercise. If you want to understand, for example, Starbucks, my first prompt or agent that I will use, and I will explain later the difference, is he will only focus on the business. He will do the same thing, analyze competition. So he will identify Starbucks, who are the competitors, try to read all the annual reports, and explain this in one part, and then go to see the capital, the structure of the stock. What are the, or I'm not trying to go technical, depend on the people
yeah.
that we have, but let's say on all, what are we paying, what are we our selling, what are all our margins, what are our return on investments, and why people are going to Starbucks and not to the other coffee shop. And that's the main idea. What we are doing if we want to start a business, the same thing, same questions. But people, when they will go to ChatGPT, they will say, explain me, should I buy Starbucks? No, it will not work. You need to go,
Yeah.
okay, let's get the business. When I would try to understand the business, I ask these questions: how they gain money, what's the capital structure, what's the return on investments, why people are coming down. Ask all of these questions, give a right prompt to the AI, and AI will give you context that you can do manually, because they will research 200 sources and give you a summary. And as an investor, when I will read this, I will say, okay, they have what we call a moat. So they have something that will protect their future earning. So when I will say that this stock will earn 10 million by this year, I'm sure that this is protected because they have a moat that protects them, whatever the one. I'm not going technical, but that's the idea, is that this should be clear. Without AI, what are the questions that I'm asking? You write them in big prompt. Of course, there is best practices, how to write it, and things like that, to not waste tokens, to put it in the right way. But that's things that you learn with time if you want, or you need to follow someone who does that exercise. And then give a structure. Once you understand the business, I go to the second thing. I want to understand what is the track record of the management. The people who is running the business is very important, because he will take the decisions. You have some couple of you are a small
Yeah.
shareholder, you will not take decisions. So you need to know what they have done in the past, what they have said in the last years. If last year they said, okay, our focus will be on improving margins, and in order to do that we are doing this and this, but in the
Yeah.
next year they change everything and they will say, okay, I'm focusing on growth. Bro, you you need to choose thing.
Yeah.
But if you do this manually, sometimes you don't notice this. But AI, if you ask it bad questions, they will go 10 years of the annual reports and will say, okay, this management team has been consistent. For 10 years they were always asking, focusing on margins, for example, and their levels was 1 2 3, and they are always keeping their promises or not. But you have a full story. Honestly, to do all that work manually,
No.
it will take days and you will not do it. So
Yeah, yeah, you'll get
it was
lost, and by the time you
yeah.
do it, it's too and one thing that a lot of people see options trading as gambling, essentially. You're just throwing your money out there. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes not, but every single step that you outline. So first, you look at the track record of annual reports. You see at the decisions being made. You see at the leadership. You see the the bottom line of how the company has done over the past 5, 10 years. In your every single one of those decisions to me decreases risk. It
Yeah,
decreases that guessing work, and you come in not gambling, but actually making a very educated guess on what's going to happen with this stock, and then put your money
yeah.
there. And
I'm asking the same questions. Imagine my neighbor is having a business, and he will ask me, Mustafa, do you want to invest me in this business, whatever, let's say the coffee shop? I will ask the same questions. I will ask him what's the business, how what where they are earning money, why customer are going into him, what will be pricing, can they increase the prices or not, what is the
mhm,
competition. I have all of my checklist of questions, and then we'll discuss how what is the price. But
yeah,
everything is the first more important part is understanding everything. I do the exact thing on the investing side. I have been doing this before AI, and AI is
mhm,
here to make me going faster. Lot of people maybe they do some, that they say AI cannot replace investor, but of course no one is saying AI will
yeah,
replace investor, but AI will let you go faster and deeper, but you need to do the work and to build the
exactly.
right
Yeah,
prompts, the right agent. And to do the work, you need two things. First, invest in knowledge, because if you don't know what questions to ask, you cannot ask the right questions. And the second is technical knowledge. It's not the most complicated thing. It depends.
but you
You need
have
to
to
have it.
understand
Yeah,
what's happening.
I'm an engineer. I like it, and I have been learning about it. So for me, it's second nature. But
Yeah,
there's people they maybe they don't like, or they don't have time. They don't have time to do it. And with these two, you can build the assets that are
mhm,
prompts, skills, agents, and we can go into it later, that will do the work of 5 or 6 analysts, and they will give you summaries and information. And as an investor, you will take the decision. I will say, I will invest or not. That's the main concept for me. And there is a lot of people. I have a lot of friends who have been investing for years. I'm only 33 years old, so I have been investing for 7, 8 years now. But I have friends who have been investing for 20 years. And when I started sharing with them how I use AI for investing, the first thing was, am I being replaced? I don't want to use this thing. It will not
yeah,
work.
yeah,
But
yeah.
with time, if you know
It's the
that,
same thing that you hear
yeah,
across everywhere, every single industry. I
yeah,
I had this. I posted this note today from a post that I've been working on, and it's that when everybody has access to the same level of knowledge, it's almost like the floor is being raised. Everybody can now ask ChatGPT, "What about this stock? You know, is
mhm,
it a good stock or not?" But I think the people who are really going to climb above that and reach the ceiling of what the possibilities are the ones that are able to take their judgment and then amplify it with AI. If AI
yeah.
just does everything for you, there's nothing that you're doing that's going to
Oh,
differentiate.
yeah,
But you have to whether you're a content creator, whether I've never coded in my life, and I've done a lot of executive coaching, but I'm now able to tell leaders, this is what your company needs. Actually, I can go build it for you. And it's not just going to Claude and saying, "Hey, build this." I had to take a lot of time and study
yeah.
a lot about coding in order it does the work, but I still have to understand it. So, when you are talking to people who are I'm 34 years old. When you're talking to people who've been investing a traditional way for 20, 25 years, and they wanna be able to use the tools that we have now. For some reason, AI seems like this human killer that
Yeah.
those same people who went from using paper annual reports that they got mailed to their homes to using the internet are really hesitating to use AI. How do you talk to people about making that switch?
Honestly, I think that it's something. It's about mindset. If the person has mindset when they are accepting to learn new things, it will be okay, because you don't need to be technical. Uh, let's say someone, you need only to understand how AI works, and that's not very complicated. You don't need to understand how it happens behind the scenes, but just to have a global understanding. And then, for me, it's not promotional, and I don't care honestly. But you need to find someone who will help you to do the exercise. Because let's take example, building one prompt. I have a prompt library. When I use it on every stock I analyze, it's 25 prompts. To build one prompt, I take 1 hour, I write pen and paper. I
Really?
continue to yeah,
Huh.
because I don't have I write what questions I'm asking. Let's take an example. When
Very
I
interesting.
want to invest, I want to estimate the growth rate to understand what is the growth rate of the stock of a business. To do it, I asked a couple of questions. First, is the let's don't go into the details of the question, but I will ask 10, 15 questions. I will write them on a paper how I think about growth rate. Once I do it, I will go onto my computer and translate it into a prompt with the best practices. And after this, skills in Claude, but let's say a prompt to make it easier.
Mhm.
And then I will run it on a stock that I have been owning for 3 or 5 years. There is stocks that I know very, very well because I
Yeah.
haven't been
Yeah.
investing in
And
for
you've been
at least two.
following and you've seen the
Yeah.
trajectory. Yeah.
So I can notice if the AI will skip some parts, and then
Mhm.
I will improve some parts of the prompt because I know they missed this because I didn't ask a question
Yeah.
about it, and I will test it on 5, 6 different stocks that I know very well in different industries, and then I will validate the prompt. Honestly, not everybody is willing to do the work, and
Yeah.
if you
It takes
are,
work. It
it
takes
takes
work.
work. So if you find someone you trust, you can use the work. But if someone take my prompts, for example, my skills, they want to modify them because they have little bit different, it will be easy. But building something from scratch, it can be
Yeah.
overwhelming. So short answer is that if you have an open mind, you can learn a lot. If you
Yeah.
want to learn from someone who's already done it, it will be easier. And I don't care. I'm not often promoting myself, honestly. If you want any people who can help you, it will be good. But saying it will not work just because
Yeah.
you ask one question in ChatGPT and you didn't have your perfect answer, that's lazy thinking. Yeah.
Now, for everybody in chat, feel free to drop on your questions if
Yeah.
there's any questions that you have in mind. So, wha- one question that I want to come back to: when you keep talking about you're a long term investor, how do you define long term?
Uh, Timing at least 2 years.
Three years.
For at least 2 years, if
What
you
about
buy
for
a stock,
options?
I don't do a lot of options
Okay.
since, yeah, I don't do a lot of options. I have done it in years ago, but I'm not big fan because for me it increase risk
Yeah.
and it will increase also the upside. But
Yeah.
for me, the first rule is not to lose money and trying to decrease risk. I'm going always mainly the stock. And Uh, so it's timing at least 2 years. And second is the approach. If you are thinking about the business, you are a long-term investor. If I'm thinking about the stock, will it go up or down? For me, you are not long-term investor, and that's not something bad. There is a lot of traders that make a lot of money, but that's not. I don't know how to do that. No,
Yeah.
I know only how to do
But
long-term
those are also
investing.
those are also the investors who they'll post about the $100,000 that they made over 3 days, but they will not post about how they lost everything 2 weeks later.
I have
Um,
my views on this. I'm not trying to make enemies.
no, I'm not in the investing side, so I can make enemies. But no, honestly, to me, if you're looking for one quality to ensure that you're going to be successful over the next 20 years, especially in the age of AI, it's to become a professional learner. Just
Yeah.
become somebody who absorbs information. You have access to more information than people have ever had before. If you're if I'm talking about, how can I code better? How can I build apps better? There are certain people all within Substack that I like to follow to learn from them. And when I'm wanting to learn about investing, Compound with AI to me is an awesome channel. So I know you're not going to promote yourself, but I will. Anybody who is interested in this stuff, please subscribe. There's a button right above. Subscribe to Compound with AI. So, Mustafa, if you're let's make this a oversimplification. Somebody comes in and says, "Hey, I'm interested in buying the stock for Exxon. Where do I start?"
Yeah, let's do this. It will be interesting, I think. That's a very good approach. Let's say you don't know they do oil and that's all.
Yeah.
Don't know anything let's say. First thing for me is to be familiar with the stock. That's the first step because in investing you cannot take a decision in one shot. You cannot just take 4 hours and say I will learn everything and I will take a decision. No,
Mm.
you should to go with a lot of steps. First for me is to get familiar with the stock. And you are talking about specific stocks, but in reality, the person is asking himself, should I buy Exxon? Should I buy Chevron?
Yeah.
Should I buy Oxy? He is
Yeah.
asking himself a lot of questions, and this is only oil, but he will have in mind 20 stocks. So the first thing is to say, which one of these stocks I will take more time to work
Mhm.
on? Because before choosing if I invest in Exxon or not, you will dedicate at least 4 hours, let's say. But why Exxon and not
Why Exxon? Because
another
there's a
stock?
gas
Yeah,
station down the road. That is not a good enough answer.
and for me the why is you can I call this parallel learning. I like to listen to a lot of podcasts. So
Yeah.
what I
Same here.
always do when I have a stock name, for example, we talked about Exxon. You tell me I think it's good stock. What I will do is that I will go to my prompt library, take first prompt, a prompt that will answer we'll try to explain what's Exxon's business model. The main question are what they sell, what customers are here,
Mhm.
what are the margins, what are the future growth, and some questions like this that I always use to understand any business. You run it into Gemini. I prefer Gemini today. We can talk about it later. There is a lot of subjects that we can talk
Yeah.
about, but especially in
I'm a
deep
Claude.
research.
I'm a
Yeah,
Claude faithful user.
I like Claude a lot for using the skills.
Yeah.
And using deep research, what will
Mhm.
happen is that with one prompt, the the LLM will go and analyze 100 sources, sometimes more, and will create 10-page report. If you want to read this 10-page report, you will understand what Exxon does. That's the main thing. And then when you read it, you will say, do I want to go deeper or not? And this will depend on a lot of things. First, maybe I have a lot of I don't want to take risk now, and I have a lot of oil companies in my portfolio. I will not take it. Maybe you will understand they don't have moat, and you are a moat investor. Maybe you will see it's not Exxon, it's turned around, and there is a lot of risks,
Yeah.
and you don't want to do it. So you will make first filter. But my thing is that I don't want to read 10 pages now.
Yeah.
I will just make it a podcast, and when I will be training, I will
So
listen to the
notebook. You use
podcast.
Notebook LM.
Yeah, I use
Yeah.
Notebook LM to create a podcast, and if I share with, if I use show my screen, I will have
That
always
is
at
so
least
interesting. That is such an
yeah,
interesting approach. You turn that 10-page deep research report into the podcast that you listen
exactly.
to.
I always have five
Mm.
podcasts on new stocks. When I train, I will listen to two podcasts, and then I will understand their business model, and I
Mhm.
will choose which one I will go deeper into detail. So let's say it was Exxon, and then I need to go into the details. I want to understand all the business model, and then I will go to my prompt library back, and I will analyze the management, analyze deeper the industry, analyze the mode. A lot of things to
Mm.
check. I will run prompts, have results, and after I will try when I have a global idea on Exxon, what is the thesis, I will try to break it. And here I will try to read to take my thesis or just to give a stock name or if I'm using Claude, and we will tell AI to try to break my
Yeah.
thesis. So tell me what are the problems. And sometimes he will honestly the AI will point to things that you didn't think about, and that's very interesting. And I will have a lot of steps like this using AI just to help me always take the decision. So let's say it's podcast to go faster, and then go into details with the right prompts. and then trying to break my thesis. And at the end of the day, it's to me to decide, do I want to do it or not? And when I want, recently I'm using a lot of Claude skills to go faster. So instead of copying a lot of prompts, I'm creating agent who will help me to understand the business using a lot of prompts. Another agent who will try to break my thesis. If I'm convinced to invest in one
Yeah.
stock, he will use my frameworks to try to break my thesis. I will have a lot of agents that I will run. And honestly, the work that you need to do in weeks, you can do it in, let's say, one day.
Yeah. Yeah. It still takes work. It still takes understanding. It
Of
still
course.
takes both
Who said
understanding
it's easy?
one. Yeah. And it gives, if it was easy, everybody would do it. I think people, and I think one of the main things that I try to help people understand is you have to understand the limitations of AI because it is not this all knowing machine. So, for example, what happens if you don't prompt right and all of a sudden your deep research report is bringing you information for how Exxon did 10 years ago? And it's
Yeah,
looking
or taking information from Reddit or from
exactly.
random sources
Exactly.
because you didn't precise the thing,
Mhm.
and that's real,
And that's
you
the
know.
problem if you just have a blanket prompt that just
Yeah,
says, "Hey, should I buy this or not?" Um, Now we have a question from Jane. She said, "You
yeah.
mentioned you have extensive prompts. Do you also include your investment policy, the document that codifies your risk tolerance, goal of portfolio?" And also, I think it'd be a good time for you to share what people have access to if they become premium subscribers of Compound with AI.
I have I have honestly a prompt for every investing step, at least my investing style, and I have prompts also to analyze the portfolio because you can have good stock picks, but your portfolio, if it's too energy focused, for example,
Yeah,
you could be taking risks now with the war, for example, it's your choice, but at least to make AI point to this kind of things. So yeah, I have prompts to do that. Oh, honestly, I will let people check. I don't want to self promote, but what I'm doing is that things that I'm using in my investing process, I will be sharing in my newsletter. I'm giving prompt library where I give all the prompts ready to use. I'm sharing skills inside Claude agents that you can install in one file and you will be using right now. And in newsletter, I'm always trying to give workflows how to use AI for investing and try to give also the main problems or errors that to not take while using AI.
yeah.
Uh,
No,
that's
that's awesome.
stupid. Yeah, that's stupid example. But sometimes I see people trying to use Claude to take data from a lot of sources and just to give you what was the revenue for the last 10 years. Bro, go to just any screener and you have that. S-
Yeah,
You need to be smart to
yeah,
use AI for the right things. And that's very important also to not get lost, but just because you love AI to use it for things that you don't need to.
yeah. Yeah, I've been I have not gotten into AI in my investment strategy yet, just because everybody has only enough hours in the day, and I've been focused on AI in business, and that's where
Yeah,
you have to have a trusted expert who comes in and says, "Hey, I've been putting all the time into this. You can now use these skills. You can use these prompts." That's what I do in business and strategy, and that's what you're doing with investing. Um, we have William here saying, I've been investing for 55 years. One needs to be a professional learner. I've spent the last 2 months integrating Claude code into my workflow. That's awesome. By the way,
great.
I'm using Obsidian. Do you have any other suggestions? I've actually migrated 99% of my work into Claude code. Not the terminal view, but just the view that looks like normal chat that I can go back
Yeah,
up. And I use DS code for everything that I do. But AI is so powerful. One of the things that you said that I think is, and we're getting close to the end too. One of the things that you said that's so important is we live in a time when we have access to the same tools that the top hedge funds have access to.
yeah,
Where we have access to the same AI that the top governments are making decisions to do sometimes crazy stuff.
yeah.
Uh, and I mean, Claude and ChatGPT, they don't have, you know, ChatGPT 7.0 where you have 5.0. They
Yeah,
have the exact same thing that you have. And it take the time to partner with experts in different areas, learn, understand AI, and really somebody like Confound with AI and Mustafa, your newsletters. There's so many great resources that really you have no
thank
excuse to to not use AI well.
yeah. Thank you, and honestly, for me, it's all about taking time to learn
Mhm.
and testing things. Honestly, learning AI now will just give you another skill that you'll use in the future. I don't see a world where you don't know how to use AI, whatever what you are doing, because you, even if you are not using it in your work, you will use it professionally. I've been raising a kid, using it a lot to learn a lot of things about other subjects. So renovating my home, did the same thing. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's a gift from God. Let's use it correctly. Yeah. And not asking it stupid questions one line just to give me stock picks and saying it's not working. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was looking for one of my investment books on here that by Benjamin Graham, and
Yeah.
it it you don't it's not like your expertise just stops being important with AI. It
Yeah.
just
And
you just have to
that's
contextualize it.
just one example. Let's say, for example, you take Ben Graham, you can read his books. Okay. What we can do now is that Benjamin Graham doesn't have a lot of videos. So let's take a
Yeah.
recent investor. Let's say Buffett. He has a lot of videos. He has all of his partnership letters. In Notebook LM, it's free.
Yeah.
If you pay for Gemini, you have it, but I think that you have the same thing in free. You
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
all the videos of Berkshire, you put the letters, you generate a mind map. You will have a lot of subjects. If you want to read about the moat, you will have all the sections where he talked about moat in all the years. You
Yeah.
can ask any question.
Yeah.
You can generate a podcast only specific about to understand the moat, and you will have all the information that Buffett
It's incredible.
explains for years, and
Yeah.
you there is no excuse anymore. You need only just to know it's possible and to do it. Like you said, learning from all the best people just in Notebook LM, which is free, not even
Yeah.
going to talking about other tools. So you were okay, but when you gave the example about Ben Graham, I was inspired to share this story. I'm passionate with this thing, so we can talk for
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. I'm definitely going to be diving in a little deeper now to individual stocks. I have not had as much time to dive in as I did a few years ago, but now you really got me excited to see what I can do with AI.
honestly, for people who doesn't want to go in specific stock name, and going index is also good if you have long-term horizon. You will have your 8-9%. It's not,
Mhm.
but if you are passionate, you want to do it, or you are already doing it without AI, you just need to use AI for it. That,
Yeah.
that's that's my 1 cent on it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Last question.
Yeah.
As you see what's been happening, you've probably followed it more closely than almost anybody here. Where do you see finance and AI and investing head within the next year, 2 years? How do you see it changing?
Honestly, I think we are only in the early days, let's say, using AI into investing. For me, the people who has first the right strategy. So for me, the right strategy is thinking in long term, taking time to do the exercise to learn how to use AI. Will have 10, 20 analysts working for them, and they can build great things that were not possible before. And that's really game changer, because there is no excuse that Wall Street and hedge funds that are doing
Yeah.
very good their work. That's their work. Uh, they will be having more information because they are paying people. No, you are paying only your Claude or Gemini subscription, and you can have the same thing with the same quality or better. So for me, retail has the exact same thing now as everybody. So no excuse to say I don't have more information. It's not a game of IQ. It's not about being smart. It's about taking time, understanding things, doing the work. You will go 10 times faster with AI, 10 times deeper also, because you discover new things, but it's still work. It's not
You're
magical.
still gonna have to work hard. Yeah.
Don't expect to to have everything ready in one click. It's too
Yeah.
easy.
No, that's awesome. Man, so exciting. I feel like we need to have a part 2 sometime in, like, 6
Y-
months to see what it's
Yeah.
made.
Let's do that. It was very interesting, and if someone has a question, just DM me. I'm trying always to answer people. It's very interesting subjects. It was a really
Yeah,
good discussion. We can do it another time. We'll have new evolutions in the AI for sure. 6 months,
yeah.
you will have a lot of new things.
At the rate things are moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. Thank you so much for your time. Subscribe to Compound with AI. Thank you very much. Have a
Thanks.
good day.
Thanks a lot. Have a good day. Bye.